Hey everyone, welcome to our behind the scenes in real estate. One of the biggest things that we always look at when we're buying and selling a home is the AC unit. And here with me is Mr. Tim Smalk. Tim, what's your company's name?
It's Renowned Heating and Air Conditioning.
I'm sure you guys, if you're watching this, you see a familiar face. We're going to go in to a house here and check out the systems, the air filters, and check it out. Just do a traditional service, and let's take a tour on this behind the scenes episode of real estate.
Okay, so we're out at the condenser outside. It's not a compressor. The compressor's a piece on the inside of this unit that is the heart of the system. So it pumps Freon through it. So there's some things in here that we have to check during the maintenance, like our motors. Are the motors overamping? Is the capacitor bad? Is the contactor okay? So those are all like go parts on this system.
Okay.
So this big thing right here is the capacitor. You guys probably have had one changed before. It's a big one. It's probably an 80 microfarad over 5 microfarad. Just to loosen the screw up right here, slide this whole thing up, and there's writing on it. And that writing will tell you that this is an 80 plus 5. So there's actually, this is 2 capacitors built into one. My meter's set up for microfarad, and that's how we have to read this. It's not a voltage thing. We just go between the 2 terminals. So this is the fan side. So fan side, once again, is 5.06, and this is a 5 microfarad, which is perfect. If you come on the other side, this is the compressor side, which should be 80 microfarad. And it's at 81 microfarad. This is a good capacitor. So there's nothing wrong with the capacitor.
That means I passed the test with the capacitor. So far, so good, right?
Contactors, on the other hand, that's this thing here, and this is essentially a light switch. If the thermostat turns on, it pulls in these probes and actually closes just like a light switch does. But this is more of a look-see. It's you pull them back and you can actually see if they're pitted and see how they look. This one here is relatively new, so I wouldn't expect to see anything other than, you know, the way it looks right now, which is perfect. Golly, you're 2 for 2.
So I'm good, 2 for 2. Okay, the filter was bad, rent it, but hey, I'm winning now so far. So while we're doing this, Tim, and for those of you guys that are watching this, as a realtor, one of the things that we always see is when we get the inspection report in, we always see a couple of items on the AC unit. Usually it's a concern for the buyer because it's one of the most expensive components in a house, and also a concern for the seller. But one of the most common things is the differential on the return versus Tim, as you're doing that, tell us a little bit about, is that something to be concerned about, or?
So a delta T is what they're talking about. Delta T is a temperature difference between the return air, where the air gets sucked in, and where the air blows out. So it's the difference between those 2 temperatures that we need to be.
So does that usually have something to do with, is it just, it needs to be serviced, it needs Freon? What do we do when we see that differential?
It's usually low on Freon.
So really, it's nothing to be concerned about when you see it. It usually just means we need to have it serviced. Call Tim out, have him check it out, maybe add a little bit of Freon, so nothing to be too concerned about. All right, so Tim, what are we doing right here?
Okay, so I'm getting ready to turn this unit back on because we don't do a voltage check off to the motor, we do an amperage check. So and this motor is rated for 1.4. So if we're above 1.4 amps, it's a bad motor.
Okay, let's see if I can pass this test. I feel like I'm in like waiting zone.
1.28.
Is that bad or good?
That's good.
Yes, I passed again. I'm like 3 for 1. 3 on the good side, 1 on the bad.
Electrically, this unit is perfect.
Perfect. Did you hear that? Perfect.
Okay guys, the last thing out here that we do is we check the Freon level. We're going to get into R22 also.
Okay.
This is a 410A system. So it runs off of 410A Freon, which is today's newest Freon that's out. We phased out R22 January 1st of 2020. Now, not to alarm you, because we have replacement fuels, so we can make the older condensers that run off of R22, we can fill them up with like 407 or new 22 or something along that line. And I know that a lot of people have concerns whenever there are R22 systems, because the first thing they say is, well, they don't make it anymore.
Right.
And that's 100% true.
And we do see that a lot from our buyers and sellers, mainly from our buyers when they have the AC unit checked. They get very concerned of the age of it and not being able to, the longevity of it with the Freon. But what Tim has just said is that that's nothing to be worried about. We just add a different flavor of Freon to the system to make it work.
In a nutshell, we're looking at the evaporator coil, which is perfect because this can show me not only pressures, but it also shows me temperatures. The evaporator's at 42 degrees. Our condenser, our outside unit, is at 100 degrees, which is ambient plus 20 degrees, and that's exactly what we want to be. So
passed again. We like to hear that. But this is why you want to have your AC unit serviced, so that we can keep it, having its annual physical. Let's just call it the annual physical. He calls it maintenance.
So, something else I want to talk to you guys about is this condensing coil. This condensing coil right here, this one's kind of open, so the rain comes down and it actually kind of cleans this unit off a little bit. But most of the air conditioners that are out there have these slats that go like this. And this right here, a dirty condenser coil, it takes 30% of your efficiency away.
And this is important because we routinely see this on the inspection reports
Dirty
about
condensers.
having dirty coils and needing to have the coils clean.
It's like taking a 16-SEER air conditioner and turning it into a 10-SEER.
Oh, wow. So it does make a big impact.
Huge, huge.
Now these coils, are they good?
They're clean, except for we're gonna go ahead and hose them off.
Okay.
So, cleaning our coils. It's not very hard, but it does affect your electric bill dramatically. So this unit can either be on or off. If you just take this and just clean the condensing coil off. So, and this needs to be a monthly thing. Every month you're gonna do two things. Change your filters, clean the condensing coils, take a water hose, take 5 minutes, clean the condensing coil off.
This is very simple to do. I never even thought about cleaning the coils like this. So something just so simple you can do at home. You don't have to call out Tim to do that.
So if you guys do this every month, this keeps down the wear and tear on the motors and the compressors. So not only do you lose efficiency, it also tears up the piece of equipment. All right, guys. So something that comes up on the reports a lot is the delta T. The delta T is what the temperature of this register is blowing minus that register over there. So if we check here and we shine the laser up in there, 48.6 degrees. So, but if we come over here to the return, now this one is where it sucks back in, is right here. And we're at 69.6. So that's a 18 degree delta T. So Texas law says that our delta T has to be between 15 and 21. So if you're above 20, you're not really pushing enough airflow through the coil. And if you're below 15, you don't have enough refrigerant to keep the airflow.
So at 18, we're just perfect.
18, you're right in the middle. That's perfect. Most of the time, that is a Freon issue.
Okay.
So whenever you guys see that the delta T is off on a unit, it means it needs Freon. That's all it needs.
But is this a good range? Is this an okay range to be in?
Yes, so that's perfect.
I passed the test on that one too. Until next time, this is Callie Ritchie, the broker owner over at Ritchie Realty, and thank you, Tim, for joining us behind the scenes.
Thank you.